I'm not gonna put it on YouTube.
This is the story of Fort Grandpa. As can well be imagined, growing up with 3 siblings was frequently a dramatic affair. It was especially high tension due to not only the number of us, but also the distribution of age and sex. Erin, the oldest, born in 1980 in Columbus, Ohio, was, or at least thought she was, the matriarch of this Ord clan. As the eldest, she tried to rule the 3 of us with an iron fist. Her closest rival was Jacob, likewise born in Columbus in 1982, and a mischievous rapscallion if ever one was born. Jacob's escapades and occasional martyrdom were central to the Ord child saga. I was the third, a blonde-haired boy who mother liked best, and who was frequently at the oft ill-fated manipulations of Jacob and Erin, who clashed for control of the young Orts. Rebecca, the youngest of us, born in Izmir, Turkey, was more often than not, as I frequently was, a peon in the power plays of the elder siblings. As the youngest, weakest, and slowest among us, but still a key player in the adventures of the young Orts. For the record, Becky has become the most resourceful, interesting, and individual one among us. Alliances would be formed and broken as easily as bread. Jacob would league with Erin against Rebecca and I, a classic oldest versus youngest play in which Becky and I would invariably get the short end of the stick. But the power struggle would often lead to violent rifts that would bring Jacob and I together in a male versus female alliance, in which Erin was forced to ally with the young, incompetent Rebecca, 6 years her junior, against the whirlwind of mischief that Jacob and I were capable of forming. That is, until I annoyed him enough that he rejoined forces with Erin again and the circle came full. However, these alliances formed and broke. There was one cause the 4 of us could unite for, invariably. This cause was Fort Grandpa. Fort Grandpa was a ramshackle agglomeration of cushions, pillows, blankets, and the occasional bureau. They would be stacked against Jacob's bedroom door in the event that our grandfather and his wife Gloria were coming to visit. Frequently we would have forenotice that our father's father was coming, but more often than not, especially when our parents realized Fort Grandpa was no passing fancy, the defenses would have to be hastily erected in mere moments, as one of us cited our grandfather's Crown Vic or old Chevy Ram truck pull into the driveway. The alarm would ring out, and all alliances would be forgotten, or at least temporarily dissolved, as we formed a united and indomitable front against grandfatherly visitation. A frantic gathering of the house's cushions would immediately precipitate under our parents and often newly arrived grandfathers' unenlightened and frequently disapproving eyes. The couch, susceptible easy chairs, and even the wicker couch chair from the basement would be stripped of their cushions for our fortifications, leaving our perplexed grandfather and his wife nowhere to sit but the wooden chairs at the kitchen table, while their grandchildren erected impassable accumulations of cushions and pillows against Jacob's door. We would gather all of our blankets, pillows, and the house's cushions possible and stack them against his door to resist visiting with our grandfather. It must be noted here, we had no particular issue with our grandfather.
That was my issue, actually.
It must be noted here, we had no particular issue with our grandfather, a portly, bespectacled, bearded older man who resembled St. Nicholas. Indeed, he was a pleasant, well-meaning character, though we created reasons amongst ourselves for the fortifications, such as his hideous Christmas gifts of well-intentioned but unimaginably unwearable sweaters and T-shirts, such as a Bart Simpson hoodie reading, quote, "represent." This is not a joke. Jacob and I both got represent hoodies, and we actually wore them to a New Year's party. It's like he was like 17 and I was like 15. We were just like, what the fuck? So yes, despite the bad gifts, interminable visits to his infinitely boring Columbus home and mispronunciations of our names, Joshua, we loved our grandpa, and the reason for our resistance, which more than often culminated in a mattress being thrown on top of all the pillows and cushions, was a prepubescent rebellion against our parents, and maybe above all else, a reason for all of us to unite under a common cause. The fort was also a source of hilarity in an otherwise typical American house, where our main amusements were watching Mary Poppins or Land Before Time, and torturing our siblings. Our parents' futile attempts to barge into the room, hence the mattress barricades, and the ensuing laughter are a way for us all to laugh together and realize that we were all in this together. Fort Grandpa would usually dissolve eventually after one of us was sent on a reconnaissance and eavesdropped the adults talking about stocks, taxes, politics, or some other inconceivably boring topic that showed we were no longer the focus of attention. Whereupon we would wander down and nonchalantly interact with our grandfather, who would never quite understand. the true significance of Fort Grandpa.
That's awesome, Josh.
Do you want to hear about this? Is a really short one.